Hello, hi there. So in this class, we'll discuss about management point. Okay, so let's see what is management point. So a management point is the site system role, correct? So we all know that. So it's a site system role that provides policy and service location information to clients. Okay. So the management points will provide the policy and the service location information to the clients, and also it receives configuration data from the clients. Okay. So what the MP will do? So MP will provide the policies and service location information to the clients, and it receives the data from the clients. This is the MP duty. Okay. So next, here you can see by default this role installs on the site server when you install a primary or a secondary site. Okay. So if you gone through the primary site wizard, the installation wizard with the default settings, so by default you can have the MP installation, MP installed in your primary site, okay, and the secondary site as well. So for the primary site particularly, you have the option to select the MP in another server. So on the time, if you want to install the MP in another server instead of the primary site, so you can select the server name and you can proceed with the wizard. Okay. So next, the primary site supports multiple instances of this role, means the management point. Okay. But the secondary site supports a single management point, also referred to as the proxy management point. So this role at the secondary site provides just like a local point of contact for the clients. Okay, fine. To obtain computer policy and user policies. Okay. And we can set up the management point to support either eHTTP or the HTTPS. Okay. So starting from the 2103, the HTTP client communications are deprecated. So only we can have HTTPS or enhanced HTTP. Okay, fine. Not this one. So next, scale and size of the management point. So as we mentioned earlier, so the primary site can have the multiple instances of the management point, right? So the primary site can support 15 management points. Okay. And the secondary site only have the single management point, and it must be installed on the secondary site server itself. Okay. And the devices, when it comes to devices, so total 25,000 devices can be managed by the management point. Okay. So out of 25,000, we can have the complete 25,000 Windows clients. Otherwise, we can have the 15,000 Windows clients. Okay. And then one of the following, not the both, we can have the 10,000 on-premises MDM or the 10,000 Mac OSs. Okay. So like that, we can fulfill the 25,000 client devices. Okay. So next, high availability conditions. So we can the high availability conditions means whenever any disaster came, so we need to make sure the clients are reaching the MPs, right? So on that cases, we can have the multiple MPs in our primary site. That will be very helpful. Okay. So here it's saying install multiple management points at the primary site. Okay, and enable the site to publish the site data to our AD and the DNS as well. Okay, so fine. By installing this multiple management point, so okay, it will reduce the load balance, okay, of the single management point by using the multiple clients, or like if you have the multiple management points, so you can have the load balance, right? So also you need to consider installing one or more database replicas, okay, for the management points. So database replicas means how it will be means. For example, we have the SQL data in our server, right? SQL DB. Okay. So, for example, if we have 10 MPs in our site hierarchy, so all 10 MPs are pinging this SQL database for policies and then to write the data or to read the data. Okay. So if you have the SQL, which means the data replicas, okay, so these MPs will ping the replicas first. Okay. So by using this, we can reduce the the burden of this SQL DB. Okay. So this is the actual meaning for these database replicas. So okay, here it's saying this configuration decreases the processor intensity operations of the management point. So it is correct. So it also increases the availability of this critical role, which means the management point role. And next, the secondary sites only support a single management point, which we already know that, and which must be located on the site server. Okay, and these secondary site management points aren't considered to the high availability configuration. Okay, so remember this thing. So only we can consider the primary site management points only. Okay. Next, management point failure conditions. So what if the management point failed? Okay, so we have this case. Although you can create a new deployment, clients don't receive them until the management point is online. Okay, so if you don't know the management point is failed and you created the new deployments, okay, to the clients, right? So in that case, so you can create new deployments and you can deploy those deployments, but the client won't receive that one because the MP is offline. Okay, so whenever the MP is online, then only clients will receive that deployment and it will perform the deployments. Okay, fine. So in the client side, what will happen means clients still collect the inventory even if the MP is offline. Okay, still connect the inventory and software metering and shares information. So they store this data locally until the management point is available. Okay, will store the data and will in the local which means in the SCCM folder in the client. Then whenever the MP is online, it will share those data to the MP. Okay. So next, client can run deployments only if they have already received the policy and the associated source files are already cached in the local at the client. Okay. So is any so if any policies are already downloaded, okay, and the source files also downloaded in the SCCM cache folder, then clients will run those policies and it will get those deployments, okay, installed. Okay. So if the policies are already installed and the sources also are already downloaded, so the clients can run the deployments, right? So it will have the status messages, correct, after the deployments completely successful or failed something. So it needs to send the status message to the MP, correct? So, so it will won't send the status message to the MP because MP is offline. So whenever the MP is online, then only it will send the status messages. Okay. So like here in the above point, you say that you can collect the status messages information, but it will store those information in the locally. So whenever the client the MP is available, it will send those data to the MP. Okay. So next, preferred management points. Okay. Preferred management points. So preferred management points enable a client to identify the management point that associated with its current network location. It means the boundary. Okay. So whenever we configure the boundary groups in the preferred management point, the assign management point to the boundary, so it can consider as the preferred management points or the assign management points. Okay. So to use this option, so we need to enable this option. Okay. So clients prefer to use the management point specified boundary groups. So these settings will be available in the hierarchy settings, okay, this option. So we need to enable this option. Then we can configure the boundary groups and we can add the included the management points to the boundary groups. Okay. So for example, so for the boundary groups, we are including the DPs, right? DBs on the site system. Okay. So like that, we can include the MP as well. Okay. Once you enable this option, then good to include the MP. So next, the client is in boundary group with no assigned management point. Okay, if there is a client with no MP assigned in the boundary group, then the site will use the list of the MPs. Okay, the list is called MP list. So my site is providing the list of the MPs means to make sure the client always receives a list of the management point. Means client always connect to the management point. Okay, so site wants that the client should be connected to the management point always. Okay, fine. So next, when you configure the preferred management point, the client organizes this list, okay, in the MP list, and it will sort out that MP list and make the preferred MPs at the top of the list. Okay, fine. And then so even though we have the number of MPs in this MP list, it will prefer the first MP to connect to the management point. Okay, and the list keep on changing. Okay, the order of the list can change each time the client updates its MP list. Okay, fine. So next, you can see the MP list. So MP list is the preferred source location, okay, service location source for the client. So this is the main point we need to consider. Okay, so the client can sort out its MP list based on its current network location. Okay, and it stores the MP list in the local WMI. Okay, so each time when client needs to connect the management point, it will check this MP list first. Okay, this MP list, and then it will make the connection to the management point. So initially it will take the MP while installing the client. So because we are providing the /MP or something like SMS MP, right? So on the time it will take that MP which we are providing while installing the client. Okay, then periodically it updates the list with details about the each management point in the hierarchy. Okay, so when a client can't find the valid management point in the MP list, so it searches the service location sources. Okay, so it can use the following order. First, it will search the management points in the hierarchy. Then it will search the Active Directory and then the DNS. Okay. So the Active Directory, we already extended the AD schemams. So the AD will have the information about the site servers. So fine. So next, after a successful connection, okay, to the management point, so then it will download the current list of the available management points and then updates its local MP list. Okay, so you need to remember this one. So every successful connection, it will check the management points and update the local MP list. Okay, so how the client will approach the management point means, so it will connect the management point. So if it's unable to connect the management point, it will give the 5 attempts. Okay, over a period of 10 minutes. So every 10 minutes, it will attempt to connect the MP in a 5 attempts. Okay. So it is failed, then it move to the next MP. Okay. The client then randomly selects a new MP to use. Okay. So this entire process will same for the all clients, which means the internet clients and as well as the intranet clients. Okay. So for example, here we have a client with the internet connect, okay, internet based management point, and then the MP sends the complete list of the available internet based MPs. Okay, so like that. So if the client is in the intranet, it will have the intranet MP list. So if it is in the internet, it will have the internet MP lists. Okay, so the process is the same for the all type of clients. Okay, so fine. Next, the MP list category. So how the client will categorize the MP list? Okay, so client organizes the list of the management points by using the following categories. So first one is the proxy, which means the management point at the secondary site, and second is the local, which means the any management point that assigned to the sites by the defined boundaries. Okay, next assigned management point, so any management point in the client's assigned site. Okay, so like this. So the client always uses the assigned MP for the registration messages and the certain policy messages. This behavior happens even when it sends the other communication to proxy or local management point. Okay, so it is clear that so client will uh, give the first preference to the assigned management points, and it will share the registration messages and the certain policy messages to the assigned MP only. So even though it is communicating with the other MPs as well. Okay, so fine. So next, the purpose of client communication with the management point. Okay, so why client need to communicate the management point and how it communicating. Okay, so a client communicates the management point to download the information about the other management point for the MP list and upload configuration details like inventory and status, and to download policies, okay, to install the software of the other related tasks. Okay, and it requests the information about the other site system roles as well. So other site system roles means, like for example, DP, for software installation and the SUP for the software updates. Okay. So like this, client will communicate with the management point. Okay. So fine. So next we'll install one management point in our hierarchy in this lab environment. So we already have one dedicated server to install the this MP. Okay. So let's start. Let's install the MP in a practical. So fine. So we are in the our primary site server. So I'm going to take a remote of this MP first. Okay. So I'd like to take the remote of the MP01. So we can log in this thing. Okay. So this is the MP. So we can minimize. So before we can proceed with the MP installation, so need to see what are the requirements. Correct. So let's see the requirements. Okay. So we need a dedicated server. So we already have the dedicated server, no problem. So and also we need to add the site server and the site system installation account as the local admin group member. Okay. So fine, we'll add those two. And then we need to add the feature, the bits, and the IIS configuration. We need to have this IIS API extension and the Windows authentication and database compatibility and developer compatibility. Also, here it's saying to make sure the clients can successfully communicate with the management point, make sure IIS allows the following HTTP words. Okay. These are the HTTP words: get, post, CM post, head, and prop fine. So we need to configure the IIS after the installation of the IIS. Okay. Okay, these are the IIS configurations. Next, we need to have the .NET framework, fine, and also we need to have the SQL ODBC driver and the native client. Okay, so fine, we'll configure these things. Okay, in the management point server. So let's go to the server again. So we are in the MP server right now. So we'll add the required .NET and as well as the remaining things. Okay, so we need to go to the dashboard, add roles and features. Then skip the first page, click next, 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 and next as well. So we already have the .NET framework 4.8. Okay, so no need to select the .NET again. So need to select the bits, to select the bits and add features. Okay, so we are selecting bits with the default settings only. Okay, so click next. So here in the roles and the IIS roles, so we need to select the Windows authentication. Okay, and as well as IIS WMI compatibility. So database compatibility already selected. I'll be selecting the bits. Okay, so we need to select the WMI additionally. And one more thing we need to select actually. Okay, I need to select the request filtering. Okay, so why we need to select this request filtering means, so here you can see we need to configure these things, right? HTTP verbs. Okay, these 5 verbs. So to configure this thing, we need a request filtering. Okay, then only we can configure these HTTP verbs. Okay, for this purpose, we're adding the request filtering as well. Okay, so now click next and install. Okay, it will install soon. No need to wait for it. Okay, so after this, we need to have the IIS configurations. Okay, so before that, we need to make sure the certificates are applied in this server, because we are configuring the IIS server, I mean the MP server with the HTTPS communications. Okay, not the enhanced HTTP. Okay, so for HTTPS communications, we need a MP certificate. Okay, so to get that MP certificate, we need to do one thing first. We need to add the MP server in the IIS configurations servers group. Okay, so here I have the IIS manager group. So we can add the MP. Okay, we need to add the MP01 here. Okay, so we need to select the computers. So we need to add the computer account only, not any other accounts. So we added the MP server in the IIS servers group. Click OK. and then we need to restart this MP server. Okay, so the features are already installed, so now we can close this one. Now we can restart this MP server. So restart, plant, continue. So here go to the tools and then select the IAS manager. Minimize. So select this one, MP01 main server, and the request filtering here. Click on that one. Go to the HTTP verbs, and right side you have the allow verb, and here you can type the verbs. First get, okay, allow again, and then post, okay, and then CCM underscore post, okay, and then head, okay, and finally prop find, okay. Okay, so the required HTTP verbs are added successfully. So now you can request the certificate. So in the real-time production environment, so you need to request the CSR, okay, the certificate request. So you need to request the CSR. So and then you need to provide that CSR to the certification team. So the team which are providing the certificates, okay, and then they will provide the certificate to you in an encrypted email. So you need to copy that certificate and you need to import that certificate in this MP server. This is the process. Okay, remember. So I'll show you just a brief how we can write the CSR file. Okay, so you need to go to the CertLM certificate manager. So here's the main CertLM here. Okay, so you can have the client certificate already is there. This is the client certificate for the server. Okay, so how you can create a CSR means, so you need to right click and you need to advanced options and then create a custom request. So here we need to provide there's something information. Next we need to provide the file name. So there's a lot of things we need to provide. Okay, and then we need to provide that file to the certificate providers team. They will provide some certificate. We need to right click and then we need to import the certificate. Okay, and next we need to browse certificate where you copied. So that's the process. So in this lab environment, we already have the certificate authority in the Active Directory, and we already published the certificate. Now what you need to do is you need to request that certificate. Okay, that is the web server certificate. We need to request. Right click, all tasks, request a new certificate. Next, there is the web server certificate check mark, and then click on this one, more info. So alternative name DNS and provide mp01.leo.com. So we need to provide the FQDN name, okay, fully qualified domain name. Sorry, not com. Then add in the general friendly names, so you have to provide MPIIS search. Okay, simply you can click OK and enroll. Okay, successfully certificate is issued. I mean the imported from the CE. Okay, fine. We got the certificate. In the IIS, just expand this sign and the default sign. Right click, edit binding, add button, HTTPS, select the certificate, MPIS search, click OK and close. Now you can right click the server and refresh. Okay, fine. Everything is good. Everything is configured successfully. So to install this MP, I'd like to have a dedicated drive here. Okay, D drive. So in the C drive, I already pasted the SMS on drive. Okay, so directly you can have the files in the D drive itself. Okay, so everything is good. Everything is good from the MP server side. So you can create a site system now. Okay, create a site system server, browse, type the MP name, check names, select the primary site and the site system account as well. So we have the site system account. Oh, so we forgot one thing. So it is to add the site system account and the server account in the local lusr mgr.msc local groups, local admin group. We forgot this one. So add this one, browse, select the computer icon. So we need to add the primary site computer account, which means the config mgr. It names. See, the computer account is added, and also SCCM site installation account. Okay. Site system installation account added. Apply. Okay. And close this one. Minimize. Now we can go to proceed. Select the role, management point. Click next. So see, by default it is selected the HTTPS. Okay. So we don't have the cloud management gateway. So we need to check this box and the below as well. We don't have the Mac OS, and only you can have the internet clients only. By default it is selected. Okay. And the bottom is to have the general alert when MP is not healthy. So we can click this alert and next. So here we're using the site database only. We don't have any site database replicas. Okay. You can use the first option. And to communicate with the SQL database, we are using the computer account of the MP. So in real time, some will have the some other accounts. They can use that accounts. Okay. So right now I'm using the computer account of the MP to communicate with the SQL database. So click next. So we can next. So now it is configured successfully. Okay. So we can open the MP server. You can cross check. Okay. It is empty right now. So once you refresh this thing, you can have the files like SMS and the SMS underscore CCM folders. See, SMS folder is came right now. Okay. So if you wait some time, you can have the remaining things as well. Okay, fine. Minimize. So the next thing we can discuss is log reference. Okay. So the following table lists the log files that contain information related to the management point. Okay. So these are the log files which is related to the management point. Okay. So you can see it in a different layout. Okay. So I like to open it in browser. So we can have the browser here inside the MP server. So you can open google.com, google.com, and here you can search SCCM log reference. Okay. So in the first tab, log reference, click on that one. There is the log reference. You have the official documentation here. So you can click the log reference. So here you can have the client logs and the server logs as well based on the service. So you need to check the MP logs, right? So management point logs. You can click this one. So here you have the management point logs. So you can check the MP setup.log, which will record the installation wrapper process, and the MP msi.log records the installation details about the installation of the management point. And we're going to have the MP controller.log. Okay. So it will records the registration of the management point and records the availability of the management point every 10 minutes. Okay. So we already informed that client will communicate the management point, and if it is anything happens, it will try to communicate with the MP within the over a period of 10 minutes, right? So it will have the 5 items in a 10 minutes, correct? So on the time, this MP control log will have this information, and it will make sure the MP is available in every 10 minutes. Okay, fine. So you can also check the remaining logs as well. So you can have the MP policy.log. So it will record the policy communication. Okay, and also you can have the hardware inventory and the software inventory also here. Okay, so like this we have the MP logs here. So if you want to check the client logs as well, what are the logs used by the clients for the MP? So what happened? So here you can have the client operations. Okay, so click on this one. In the client operation, we can check the CCM messaging log. Okay, it will records the activity related to the client and the management point. Fine. So this log we need to check in the client side, and as well as we have another log to get the location services, which is the location services dot log. Okay, so it will records the client activity for locating management point, software update points, and distribution points. Okay, so it's a service location. Okay, so these two, I think it's enough to know whether the client are communicating with the management point or not. Okay, so fine. Now we can close this one. See, we have the SMS and the SMS underscore CCM folders here. So we can check the logs files. So before that, we need to have the CCM trace to open the logs. So open the CCM trace and then go back. SMS and logs. See, here we have the mp-log completed successfully, and the mp-msi.log we also completed successfully, no issues. Okay, we can have the mp controller.log as well. So it's still in process. Okay, installation still in process, so it will have some time to install the remaining stuff as well. Okay, so fine. These are the SMS folder, the SMS underscore CCM also have the everything is available here. Okay, so fine. This is the installation of the management point. Okay. So friends, see you soon in our next class. Until then, have a great day. Bye.